Mike Pachelli here. Thanks for tuning in. For this lesson, I'll be talking about the Beatles' recording of Long Tall Sally that they did in March of 1964. The song was written by Inatras Johnson, Robert Blackwell, and Richard Penniman, better known as Little Richard, and it became a big hit for Little Richard back in 1956. The Beatles were on the bill with Little Richard back in 1962, and that's where they also met Billy Preston. Long Tall Sally is the most performed live song that the Beatles did. They did it from 1957 to 1966. It was one of the songs that Paul played when he first met John, and they used it as a closer during their 64 American tour and as a closer of their final 1966 show at Candlestick Park. Fun facts to know and tell. Because of the stereo mix of the song where both lead guitar parts are panned to the left channel, some folks think that both solos were played by George Harrison. But if you have half an ear, you can definitely hear the difference between John Lennon's Rickenbacker and George Harrison's Gretsch. John plays the first solo, George plays the second, just like they did when they did the song live. Little Richard was a favorite of the band, so it's no doubt they wanted to do the song Long Tall Sally. And about that, John has said, "Little Richard was one of the all-time greats. The first time I heard him, a friend of mine had been to Holland and brought back a 78 RPM record with Long Tall Sally on one side and Slippin' and Slidin' on the other. It blew our heads. We never heard anybody sing like that in our lives, and all those saxes playing like crazy." And Paul does a stupendous job in emulating the vocal prowess of Little Richard. They played it on BBC radio shows a number of times, on Side by Side, Saturday Club, Pop Go the Beatles, Top Gear, and From Us to You. They also performed it 10 times on TV shows. So in March of 1964, during the Hard Day's Night sessions at EMI, they recorded Long Tall Sally, perhaps intending it to close out the Hard Day's Night movie, which of course it wasn't included. They do one take, with the musicianship being John Lennon on his Rickenbacker 325, George Harrison on his Gretsch Country Gentleman, Paul on bass and Ringo on drums, and George Martin tinkling the piano keys. It was mixed on June 4th, 1964, and it appeared on the Beatles' second album in the U.S. in April of 1964, and in June of 1964 on the Long Tall Sally EP in the UK. So that's the backstory. Let's get started. George Harrison is playing his Gretsch Country Gentleman on Long Tall Sally. This is a country classic, and I've got it going through a 1964 Vox AC30. George is the first guitar you hear on the song. He does some, bending where he's bending on the G string 5th fret and fretting the 3rd fret of the B string to get the sounds of those kind of sounds. And he comes in 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1. Little stuff like that. And then it's just off to the rock and roll races. And he doesn't do a strict, He moves around because of probably it's so hard to grab sometimes. So on the first C, he plays like, he goes. Then on the G, up to the D, and that C is anticipated. Down to the G. Stuff like that. Again, charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com will make it perfectly clear. If you just rock out on it, you'll be fine. Second verse, more of the bending, that D sound, I should say. So it's like. Stuff like that. And then again, rocking on the C, and it moves around, changes patterns, but sort of like to the G, up to the D. Always anticipate that C. So from the D, and then the G. Hard to do that stretch when you're sitting down. Again, if you just rock it out any old way, you'll be fine. But again, my charts and tabs, because of the crazy anal retentive that I am, I wrote it out exactly what he did. But then during John's solo, he changes up his pattern quite a bit, and he plays more like a style what John was doing. He goes up to the high G, and he plays like this. He goes, 1. Changes it a little bit on the C, where he goes, does that same pattern on the G. Then on the D, he goes straight rock and roll. And down to the G. Verse 3 is pretty much the same. Again, if you want to know it, charts and tabs will show you exactly what's happening on verse 3. Pretty much the same rock and roll. And he starts on measure, 10 of that verse 3 for his solo. And on the solo, you're on the B string from the 11th fret to the 13th fret. First you hammer on, you go. Right? No, he doesn't do that vibrato, but I do. He goes. Now the next part of the solo is simply, it's just an octave thing. He's going from octave of G up to the C. But the way he does it, he starts on the end of 4. He goes 2, 3, 4. Do that even slower. 3, 4. Then comes down for some hammer-ons and pull-offs. It's and on those little unison Ds, first slide into the first one, then play a C and slide. So. Let me do the whole solo for you now. I'm nice and slow. 2, 3, 4. And then he's changing again. Now he's just kind of playing 3-note chords on the G. He plays like, he goes, he starts on the end of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then on verse 5, he changes it up and he plays this. He goes, And his little last ending lick is 1. Nice and slowly, that last little lick is 1. Charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com will make it clearer than I could say it or play it, but that's George's part on Long Tall Sally. John Lennon is playing his Rickenbacker 325 on Long Tall Sally. I got mine going through a 1964 Vox AC30. He comes in on measure 5, playing, kind of rock and roll, but he's varying the rhythm quite a bit. So on a C, when he first comes in, he goes like this. He goes. And kind of the same on the G. He goes up to. Then on the D. Same thing on the C. Then up on the G, he goes like that. And on verse 2, He plays. He starts on 1. He goes. Okay, and then more rocking on the C. It's back up to the G. He plays right. First time I've ever heard him do that. Does that a lot on the G. To the D. Let's see. To the C. And then the G. And somehow, magically, he starts the solo, apparently live. But on the solo, it's kind of like these little triplets. It's like a G7 chord. But he plays 1. And then that's the pickup, and then the solo will begin. So the solo is let me talk about that. So again, he's starting on the 12th measure of verse 2 with the pickups. I'll do it slowly. So it's 1. And then typical John Lennon, noodling around first position G, and he goes, Let me show you that again really slow. 3, 4. And finishes a solo with Charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com will make it even clearer than I can say it or play it. But that's his little solo. And then on verse 3, he kicks in again, but he's doing it lower. He goes. He does those. And then back to rockin' in C. Back up to the G. It's a little cool move. On the D. And then just straight rocking on a G, Now George solo starts. On George's solo, for the first 2 measures, John just rocks root 5th of G, Then he plays bar chords from G up to B, only strummed to the 3rd string. So a G, G sharp, A sharp, B. All right. Then rocking on C. Down low G here. To the D up here. C. G. Kind of hard to do it and read the chart, but you understand what I mean. Then on verse 4 and 5, as Paul's screaming his brains out, John plays just standard rock and roll, just standard, Chuck Berry kind of. Up to the C. G. D. He does that twice, and then on the very end, on the last measure, would be like 11 and 12 of what we call verse 5. Just straight. Make sure I'm doing. Just straight. Yeah, root 5th, like. And then he slides into the G9. So the very. Again, charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com will make it much clearer than I can say it or play it, but that's John's part on Long Tall Sally. I have put it together in a sound alike so you can see a lot better how both those guitar parts fit together. So please have a look at this.
I'm gonna tell Aunt Mary about Uncle John. He said he had a misery, but he's got a lot of fun. Oh, baby. Yeah, now, baby. Woo, baby. Some fun night. I saw Uncle John with long tall Sally. Saw Mary coming and he don't make any alley, oh, baby. Yeah, now, baby. Woo, baby. Some fun tonight. Well, long tall Sally Field, pretty tricks she got, everything that Uncle John needs, oh, baby. Yeah, now, baby. Woo, baby. Some fun night. Have some fun tonight. Have some fun tonight. Woo, everything's alright. Have some fun tonight. Have some fun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo, we're gonna have some fun tonight. Have some fun tonight. Everything's alright. Have some fun tonight. Yeah, we'll have some fun tonight.
Well, now you've seen a good rendition on how both those guitar parts fit so nicely together. If you'd like an accurate reference, you can download the charts and tabs at mikepachelli.com. And I really appreciate your consideration in supporting my work that way. And if you haven't, please subscribe to my YouTube channel because that helps the algorithm allow more people to see my work. So have fun playing this great old song because that's what playing the guitar should be all about. And until next time, I'm Mike Pachelli. Thanks for hanging out with me.